it's all about the clap back. Get your boss whacked, Premier's funeral on Snapchat. You now tuned into the bag.
I'm just pulling up, I don't know what this money been doing to me. I just been buying foreign cars and blowing bands on jewelry. And I'm pulling up with that.
What's good, y'all? Fist Vegas, the hardest voice of sports. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe to the Fist Schooner while you at it. Y'all know what time it is. If you ain't with it, you best get with it. Now let's rock. Listen. Merry Christmas. Alright. Merry Christmas, everybody. And I want to give a special Merry Christmas for the Saints for stomping out them ho-ho-hos named the Vikings. Okay? Them ho-ho-hos named the Vikings have been a thorn in Who Dat Nation's side for years. We had the Minnesota Miracle, and we had that debacle last season where Kirk Cousins wins his first playoff game because the officials don't want to overturn that pass interference on Kyle Rudolph. So at the end of the day, I'm glad Sean Payton ran up the damn score. Screw the Vikings. Screw them. Because they have ruined the Saints season for 2 of the last 3 years. They have been a thorn in the Saints side 2 of the last 3 years. They've broken our hearts, and they've gotten away with murder on this football field, and it's about time the Saints got them back. And I'm happy they did it. I was happy Sean Payton was running that damn score up. Bump that team. For real, man. Shout out to my man Alvin Kamara. It's about time you got a breakout game. You've been slipping for the past couple weeks. But you know what? I got to say something. That Taysom Hill, bro. Like, hold on. You know, timeout. Hold on. Why didn't Sean Payton just give the ball to Kamara instead of Taysom Hill? Because at some point, you have to know Kamara's chasing history. Like, it comes to a point where if he's on his way to 5 or 6 touchdowns, don't let Taysom Hill run the damn thing in there. Just give it to Kamara. At that point, you should just be force-feeding Kamara. Because if you give Taysom Hill touchdown to Kamara, then Kamara has the record. Because didn't he tie the record tonight? What was it, Eddie George or something like that? Who did he tie the record with tonight with 6 touchdowns? But one more touchdown, and he owned the record. So if you take away Taysom Hill touchdown and give it to Kamara, he has the record by himself. So, you know, it's a little bittersweet. It's a little bittersweet. But, you know, shout out to Kamara. Shout out to Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill does his thing. I feel like he's back in his proper role. And listen, we all know Drew Brees needs to retire. I get it. He does look a little bad. He does. We're not going to lie and say Drew Brees don't look a little washed. But let me explain something to y'all. Washed Drew Brees just threw for 311 yards on 19 completions. Let that sink in. A washed Drew Brees with no Michael Thomas just threw for 311 yards on 19 completions. Let that sink in. There's quarterbacks in the league that complete 25 balls and can't throw for 300 yards. Drew Brees still threw for 300 yards on 19 completions without Michael Thomas. So for as washed as Drew Brees may be, we're calling Drew Brees washed because of what he used to be. You see, Drew Brees is a top 5 all-time quarterback. Drew Brees is one of the GOATs. So the washed version of Drew Brees is still better than 80% of the quarterbacks playing. Let that sink in. Washed Drew Brees is still better than 80% of the quarterbacks playing. And another thing, shout out to Drew Brees for being the first quarterback to throw for 80,000 yards in NFL history. Shout out to Drew Brees. So it's like, we need to chill on the Drew Brees slander. Can we relax on the Drew Brees slander? Because at the end of the day, bad Drew Brees is probably better than your quarterback. If you ain't got like Mahomes or Wilson or Rodgers, you know the usual suspects. So if you're like, I don't know, 27 other teams in the NFL, if you're like, there's like 24 teams in the NFL that would die to have Drew Brees right now. There's like 24 teams in the NFL that would die to have Drew Brees right now. Let that sink in. So, you can call Drew Brees washed all you want to. He's still better than your quarterback, more than likely. So, the Saints needed this game. They did. Listen. The Saints had a heartbreaking loss versus the Chiefs. That's a heartbreaking loss because the Saints know that that's the measuring bar. Like, the Chiefs are the bar. Like, you measure yourself based on how you do against the Chiefs. And the Saints, my thing with the Saints are, Drew Brees just threw for 80,000 yards. Drew Brees just became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 80,000 yards. How do you think it made Drew Brees and Sean Payton feel knowing that they have to control the ball and they have to keep Mahomes off the field? They're used to teams doing that to them. The Saints are used to being the team that you have to keep the ball from. The Saints are used to being the team that you have to control time of possession against. You don't think it hurt Sean Payton and Drew Brees' pride knowing that they had to play keep away from Mahomes, that they had to suppress their offense and control the clock? It hurt their feelings. I don't care what anybody says. Sean Payton and Drew Brees are one of the most prolific quarterback coach tandems that ever lived. It hurt their pride knowing that that guy in Kansas City is doing what they were doing for so many years. So, it's like having this game where they scored 51 points, it just reminded Sean Payton, it reminded Drew Brees, it just reminded them that they're still them, that they still got it, that their offense could put up points too. Because, because it was a struggle last week for the Saints. I mean, the Saints were relying on safeties and shit to score. Like, it was a struggle. So, it's good that they got this game just for a moral boost, for morale purposes. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I look at it. But overall, y'all, Emmanuel Sanders had a good game. Jared Cook had a good game. Hell, even Latavius Murray ran for 70-something yards. So the Saints had over 200 rushing yards on the day. But yeah, it's over for the Vikings. It's been real. Thank you, Adam Thielen, for the 23 fantasy points. Thank you, Saints defense, for holding Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook in check. Saints defense, I love you, because I'm in my Super Bowl. I was going against Dalvin Cook, was going against Justin Jefferson. Thank you. And speaking of which, Alvin Kamara, new name is the Grinch. We're calling Alvin Kamara the Grinch because he ruined a lot of Christmases today. If you're going against Alvin Kamara, you are fucked. So, Alvin Kamara, your new nickname is the Grinch. But we up out of here, y'all. That's it. That's all. Subscribe to the unit if you rockin' with me. My name is Fitz Vegas, and I approve this message.